I was working with a musician named Dan Powers, who you all probably know now, and we were both living down in North Idaho, and we did a record together, and after he moved his family up here, I decided to come visit him, and I fell in love with the town, and here I am ever since. I started doing audio recording when I was probably 13 or so. I had some friends that were really into it, and I was starting to make friends with some guys in college, and when they were in college they wanted to record, and so I wanted to know how to do that, and so I bought myself this horrible little mixer, and I bought all the wrong gear, and I tried doing it myself, and it was a horrible disaster, but it was an absolute blast. And so I started when I was 13, and just kind of progressed from there as I learned more things. Hardest part is probably the editing process at the end. Going through, finding out exactly, picking the meat from the bone per se. Trying to figure out exactly what's going to tell the story the best way. Whether that's, spoken voice like this or whether it's audio, trying to find out exactly how best to put the story together is really the hardest part for me. I'd say tourism is pretty stable right now in Wrangell. The effect of tourism on Wrangell is huge. It covers everything from bringing new people to Wrangell and to Alaska that have never been here before, all the way to, when they buy something from the store, that also goes into our sales tax, which funds our schools, which is a huge impact on our town. So it's got a massive impact here. Cruise ships has to be the biggest impact. We saw about 30,000 people last year. I think this year we're down a little bit, but we still have close to 30,000 people coming in every year that way. I think the hardest part right now for us is trying to find ways to find non-cruise ship visitors. One of the big goals that I'm working on right now is focusing on independent travelers. So like just folks like you and I who just want to go on a trip and they want to go find somewhere cool. That's the biggest challenge right now, is trying to get them to come here. So TravelWrangell.com was established when the CVB, the Convention and Visitor Bureau with the city, got a new brand back in, I think, 2021. The site was functional before, but I figured, it was time for an update. What I've learned is websites have a lifespan of about 3.5 years, so you have to kind of update a site every 3.5 years. We were pushing up on that, and so I started with a basic template. Actually, I don't know if there was much of a template. I started with nothing, essentially, and just started building out a site to make it look modern and up to date with the current marketing trends. So in 2007, my mom got involved with it. She went to Washington State University, and she was a sports marketing major. And she asked to be a part of March Madness and working for CBS Sports, who produces March Madness. She started back then, and every couple years she would do that. And in 2016, I got to work with her part of the time while they were in Spokane, which is originally where I'm from. And this year, I got to work with them full-time as part of operational support. And so I worked with our production team there, the producer and the director and their production trailer, as well as on-floor talent. So the sportscasters that you hear on TV and that you see on TV, I got to work with both of them as an ops support. Oh boy, what's my favorite part? I like, with my position, so my position is the marketing community development coordinator for the city. And one of my favorite things is just being able to stretch my creative muscles with doing layout and design for documents, for reports. I just finished our design for the 2024 travel guide, which will go out to all the visitor industry. I also really enjoy putting together our promotional materials for city business or just tourism business, things like that. That's something I really enjoy doing. Make sure you give it time to adjust. Don't just try to assume that the winter is how it's always like, or summer is always how it's like. Allow those changes to just flourish in the changes. My favorite thing that happened was my parents said, we're not always going, well, what they say. My parents said that if you want to try something, just try something. You don't have to do it forever. It's not going to always be forever. Sometimes it's just a season, sometimes it's one time and you find out you hate it. But don't be afraid to try something new that interests you, and explore and be curious and just take as much time as you want with it. Or if you find out you hate it, it's okay. There's going to be something else that comes around the corner that'll probably be shiny and you'll want to tackle, and you never know if it turns into a career.